Hey,
Hey, how you doing, Sam?
good. How are you?
Good.
Coming in with a new name today.
Oh, you remember me.
Yeah, Jeff, I remember you.
Awesome.
All of a sudden, I was like,
Who
that's
is
really
that
nice.
guy?
I was like, wait a minute. He looks awfully familiar. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Good, man. You got any questions today?
I do. I actually have some parcels of land that I'd like you to look at, see what you think.
Heck yeah. Love it. Sweet. Well, fire away, man. Let's go.
Cool, let's do this. So let's see, we have so this is in Fayette, Illinois,
Okay.
Fayette County. Let's see. Here we are. Okay. It is, do you want the address?
Yeah. Go ahead and pop. Do you want me to, let's see here. Grab the address. Is it on market, off market?
This is on market.
Okay, let's check it out here. Give me one second. Let me share this guy. Go ahead.
Okay, it's 2110 North Avenue, St. Elmo, Illinois.
St. Elmo, Illinois. Let's check it out. Sweet. Little 17 acre. All right. So what do you want to know about it?
So
What's your
this
question?
property, so actually called the realtor on this because it's been obviously it's been on Zillow for 98 days. Only has 54 views, one save. But I
Hmm.
thought that this property, based on where it's at, and I found another comparable property that sold for around 134, I think it was.
Okay.
But I talked to them and the realtor's like, oh yeah, this is way overpriced. Uh, but what I wanted to do with this is that I
Classic.
wanted to I wanted to
Go
take the
ahead.
property and do a subdivide with it. I was like, oh, we can make like 6 lots out of this.
Okay.
It's kind of what
All
I was
right.
thinking.
Sweet,
But
man. Let's deep dive. Go ahead. Continue.
I wanted to know what you would think about how you would approach this to get this at a price that would actually make sense. And so we could actually make money on the deal. But
Yeah.
what would you offer? How would you approach the process? Just because the comp actually, even on Zillow, said that it sold for about 134 with similar acreage. It's not too far away.
Let's see here. Ooh, what's going on here? Hold on one second. Okay. So 134 here. Let me go in here. All right, so I'm just gonna pull this up because this will help us with North Ave. How come this isn't popping up?
Yeah, I tried to put into Land Insights as well. And
All
yeah,
right. Well, all right, so let's do it the old school way here. Let's go. All right. So a few different things that we're gonna look at right off the bat. I want to pull this up here real quick because does that look like it? Yeah, that looks
that's
like it.
it. Yeah.
All right, cool. So it's just north of St. Elmo. All right. I'm just kind of gonna like hone in on where exactly it is. All right. 2070. 2075 should be 12th Street. There's the country club.
Yes.
Right. All right. Let me make sure I'm finding it right. Okay. So literally just that piece right below the country club.
Hmm.
Okay. Sweet. Looks like it's these pieces, huh?
Oh, do you think it's already divided into four?
It might be. Let's take a look here.
Okay.
Well, let's go through the process of it.
Yeah.
All right. So Step number one, this property can be subdivided or bought as a whole parcel. Okay. So step number one, just taking a look at essentially looks like it has plenty of road frontage, right? Some road frontage here. Looks like this is like the entryway to the country club, maybe? Or is that just a, yeah, maybe. Either way, has plenty of road frontage, right? I would look mainly at this type of road frontage. So if we look at that, this looks good. Yeah, that is the country club. Sweet. So got a whole bunch of road frontage in there. All right. Now, next step, let's take, we're going to put, I know highly Fayette County. All right. So I just essentially took in Google and plugged in the address. What county is this in? So Fayette County. All right, cool. Fayette County, Illinois. And then I'm gonna go, what are the minor subdivide rules for Fayette County, Illinois? Let's see what we see here. All right. A minor subdivision typically involves dividing a parcel into 2 to 4 tracts under Illinois Plat Act. Any division creating lots under 5 acres requires platting, which essentially just means that you have to go in and file and record it and survey it. Minor divisions must front an existing public street, avoiding creating new roads and simply complying with county zones and septic codes. All right. So let's see here. So I'm just saying, I'm gonna go into, this looks like Gemini, right? So Google Gemini. And I'm just gonna say, okay, so we know that we can go up to 4 tracks, right? So we know that we can essentially split a parcel into 4 different ways. And I'm just gonna say, give me more details on the specifics of a minor subdivide. I want to know how many parcels, minimum parcel size. Um, what else do I want to know? Road, minimum amount of road frontage, and anything else you think I should know for a minor subdivide in, let's see here, Fayette County. All right, here we go. So literally, I'm just punching this into AI and seeing what they say. So it looks like 4 parcels, 24-month rule. Okay, so this one has a 24-month
Oh,
rule. So meaning that you can't subdivide it and then subdivide it and subdivide it again. All right. So that would be something that we need to add that you'd want to ask that agent for sure and ask them, hey, in the past 2 years, have you guys subdivided this at all? Because if that's the case and they already subdivided, which this doesn't look like a subdivide, but it looks like there's 4 separate parcels or 4 different APNs on here,
okay. So does
right?
that mean it's
One,
already
two,
done?
three,
Since
four.
there's 4 separate APNs, have they already done that?
That's a good question. Now, I mean, if you really want to dive deep into it, we would go into like the Fayette County GIS and go take a
Okay.
look at it, which
Okay.
might be worth a shot. I would at least, easiest thing would be call the agent and say, hey, I did a little bit more research on this. Looks like, there's a 24-month rule under the Illinois Plat Act, where, you can't create more than f five lots in a rolling 24-month period. Do you know, has this
Have you ever
been
done?
subdivided? Yeah, so many different times. Or has this been subdivided at all within the last 24 months? And they'll either say, yes, it has, it's four parcels, XYZ, or no, it hasn't. I don't know, who knows, kind of thing. This would be something too that you'd definitely like where you'd call the county and make like confirm if it's a legitimate possibility. So let's just pretend for the sake of today that, yeah, we're good. So it hasn't been subdivided. We'll say that it's one big parcel, all right, and that Land Insights just kind of has it down wrong.
Okay.
All right. Actually, here, let's try this. Let me look at Land Portal. Let's see what Land Portal says. Where's that golf course? Yeah, here you go. So Land Portal, well, they don't even have that recorded. So they have it only as one here. So just this one here. I'm gonna put it on blast, but there you go. So yeah, they just have it as this one and then nothing over here, which tells me that it's probably one, but I'm really curious because Land Insights has it as four. Don't you love software? That's where you have
Yeah.
to
What
that's where
data
you
do
have
you
to
think is
call the
better?
county. What's that?
So I know you've used Land Portal and Land Insights. Which one have you found to be more beneficial?
I actually like them for different reasons.
Okay.
So I think
It's not
Land
a loaded
Insights.
question. I just I've
No,
used
no,
two
no, no, no,
too.
no.
So.
Good sidebar. Good sidebar, Jeff. So I
Yeah.
like Land Insights for their features. I think it's more user friendly, it's more intuitive and all that.
Hmm.
What I don't like about Land Insights is I rely on AI a lot to help me underwrite a lot of the properties. So like for example, I have an AI agent and skill where I just punch in like I would just punch in this address and then it will literally write everything within the subdivide. So it would tell me all these rules and all everything, all
Oh
like
my gosh,
just
how
by that.
cool. And you can do
Yeah,
that
it's
in Land Portal?
so Land Portal. I'm gonna nerd out here for a minute. I'm not sure if you're an
Oh,
AI guy or not.
I'm all
So
about the nerdy.
okay, so so a Land Portal has an API into the
Okay.
backend, which essentially means that your AI, so in my case, I use Claude. Claude essentially can go into the backend and retrieve data out of the backend and connect directly to them. And so it can pull this data really quickly versus me going in and having to like click around and figure this out. It can actually go in there, click around, pull all that data, and then bring it back and create a report, which is pretty wild. I'll
Yeah,
maybe
that's
show
amazing.
you. I can maybe show you a report. Here, I'll do it real quick. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I'll do the report for this one. I'll let it run, and then we'll shop and compare it. That sound
Okay.
good?
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. So give me 1 second here. Let me grab a few pieces of info. All right. I think this land actually was already split. Sorry, I'm taking a look at it here
Hmm?
because I didn't want to put their name out on blast, but I think that they already split this.
Okay.
But I could be wrong because I'm seeing different APNs for each one. Let me throw it in. Let me just do that quick here. All right. All right. So it is going So don't worry, I'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. Um, so it is going there. And so essentially that's kind of how I like each one. So, oh, no, I'm putting the guy on blast anyways. So essentially that's how I, why I use each one. I use Land Portal because it can connect in on the back end. And then I use Land Insights because I like Land Insights for their data. I think their data is maybe a little bit better. That's all.
Okay.
Um, okay. So we're gonna essentially check into minor subdivide here. So for parcels, let's see here.
What prompts do you use to do the AI?
For this or for what I'm
Yeah, for this.
doing on.
Well, for underwriting. Yeah, what prompts do you use for underwriting to see if it's actually worthy to pursue?
Literally just exactly
Exactly
what I
what you
put in
did.
here.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So like this, what I'm gonna run you through here, and we're
Yeah.
just gonna compare it to what I've already built. So I'll
Okay.
kind of show you
Awesome.
like how I'm gonna do it or how I started and like how you can do it. And then obviously if you dive deep into the wormhole of land and AI, then you can build out something like what I did.
Yeah. It's exciting.
Yeah. So essentially, minor subdivider rules. All right. You look them up, give me a real brief version, and then give me the specifics on the minor subdivide. Want to know how many parcels, minimum parcel size, minimum amount of road frontage. Those are going to be your biggest things that are going to hang you up right away. Are going to be those type of things. And then important really to note too, anything else you think I should know for minor subdivide in the county. All right, because sometimes counties have weird rules like this 24-month rule, right? Like, this is an Illinois Plat Act framework. So something kind of unique. So we talked about it looks like you can go into four parcels, all right? So you can split anything into four. And let's see here, 24-month, 5 acre threshold. Less than 5 acres requires a certified plat map completed by Illinois registered surveyor. Sweet. So if you make it larger than 5 acres, you don't even need to go through a surveyor.
Nice.
Stems from local platting procedures. Through surveyor maps are still needed. Oh, surveyor maps are still needed to write a valid deed. Okay. So pro and con on that one. This, to me, if you're gonna go through with this, I would call the county and see exactly what this all entails. If that makes sense. Like what
Yeah.
does this mean if 5 acres or more, 5 acres or less? And just see what they're saying about this. Essentially requires newly created lot that is less than 5 acres requires a certified plat map completed by an Illinois registered land surveyor. Divisions where every tract is 5 acre or larger are typically exempt from local platting procedures. Those survey maps are still needed. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so local plotting procedures could be, for example, like where you have to go in front of a board or something like that to go and say, hey, I want to create, a homestead on this 1 acre. And then they might have a local meeting where they say yes or no, they can vote you yes or no down. So if you get 5 acres or more, you can totally bypass that potentially. That's how I'm reading this.
Okay.
All right. So I can kind of give you an example of it. So, for example, I actually just got under contract yesterday afternoon for a subdivide in Indiana. And I have two meetings that I have to go to. I have August 11th and September 15th where I have to go. Essentially, the first one is called a tech meeting, and I have to show up and I have to say, hey, here's my plan. This is what I want to do with everything. And then September 15th, and then if that gets approved, it gets a stamp of approval. And then I have to show up on September 15th and say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is everything that you need. You guys already approved this. Do you have any further questions, if that makes sense? and then they essentially say yes or no, right? Normally, if it passes the first one, the second one, cross my fingers, knock on wood, should be able to pass as well. So that is what I read from the local platting procedures. So in this case, if it's larger than 5 acres, you might not have to go and do that. You might just have to show them, here's a surveyor map, and then stamp of approval and done. So that
Okay.
might actually work in your favor, which might be really nice.
So is it
Um,
drawn out that long? Like those two meetings that you have to go to later? I mean, it sounds like very inefficient. Just that's just how it operates.
yeah, Jeff, that's the government, man.
Yeah, I know.
Very inefficient. Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is.
Well,
Yep.
okay. So there's no
Yep.
way to actually accelerate that. Nothing. Okay.
No, because they meet once a month, and so you have to get your stuff in before a certain amount of time, and then blah, blah, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Okay.
So
Right.
they have very specific set, like you do it this way, and then this, and then this, and then this. There's nothing super fast about it. Now, if cross my fingers, knock on wood, everything goes well on September 15th, they approve it, and then it should be recorded the next day, right?
Okay.
So September 16th, hopefully then it will be all recorded and done. Transaction goes through and good to go, right? So anyways, just kind of that might be something that you might be able to loop around, it sounds like, if it's over 5 acres. But again, I would double check with the county on this. Um, cool. Health department. Let's see here. If you're splitting land, residential construction, a well, private well and septic tank, Fayette County, blah, blah, strictly enforces minimum acreage thresholds. Parcels usually must be at least 1 to 2 acres of continuous unflooded ground to accommodate the septic field. Okay, cool. So this tells you 1 to 2 acres for septic field. So sounds like if you're going less than 5 acres and 1 to 2 acres, there's like some rules and regulations within that. So you got to keep it, sounds like over 1 acre, which in this case, how many acres was it? 17.
Mhm.
That's fine. You could totally do that. And to get it greater or less than 5 acres, we can talk about what one we want to do for that. Um, but just like another contingency there. Minimum road frontage. All right, 150 to 170 feet per lot. All right, so we're gonna go 150 if we can. This lot should have no issue with road frontage. We got plenty of road frontage. Let's just draw it real quick. Let's see where we're at.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
1,600 feet of road frontage. We're good. We're good. We got plenty of road frontage in there. Not worried about that. But that's good to know. We need 150 feet per lot. Let's check it out. Exempt flags. All right, so flag configuration. Do you know what that means?
I do not.
Okay, cool. So flag. I'll draw one out. So flag lot essentially normally means if you go something like this,
Oh, okay.
where it looks like a flag, right? So normally and this is almost like an example of it, right? But say somebody owns this, right? And now you need access into the back parcel of it. And so
Hmm.
this is what's considered a flag lot. So it looks just like a flagpole.
Yeah.
Um, and so flag lots or flag lot consideration, however, they're strictly subject to approval by county. So flag lots can be tough because of this right here, emergency vehicles to access the property, right? So if it's in a county and you have a flag lot, right, they they need to be able to get back to access for any sort of emergency, fire, ambulance, police, whatever it may be. And so that's why flag lots, A, they're undesirable for buyers normally. B, sometimes the county puts up a little bit of hissy fit because of or the emergency vehicle piece of it. So something to be aware of. And again, these would be like questions that you could ask the county if as you go down the road. But let's see here. No new infrastructure. All right. Township highway, partial track requirement. Oh, look at that. It even recommends new steps and provides you with a phone number, Jeff. Here we go.
Oh, geez.
Look at that. How nice are they? All right. Sweet. Okay, so let's take a look. So normally what I do is I type this in real quick and I'm going, okay, looks like you can go 2 to 4 parcels. Okay, 24-month rule, that's important. I'd read this threshold and see what's okay, that makes sense. Okay, 1 to 2 acres. So it sounds like we need maybe a little bit bigger lots. Minimum road frontage. I'd read about the flag and then go, okay, let's just check and see if this is even feasible before I go deeper down into the scope of it, right? So let's go. I'm going to run back to Land Insights here. Let's just see. I'm assuming this is the 20 full 27 acres, but let me check and see. 23 acres. Okay, what if we go out here? 24 acres. Okay. This is probably roughly what his parcel is. I don't see. Wonder if this is part of it too. This is gonna make it too big though, I think. Yeah, way too big. 29 acres? What do you say? Oh, you said only
Or,
17.
yeah.
Okay, let me redraw this. So I bet he probably just has these two. Aha. Okay,
Boom, there it is. So
there we
that's
go.
it's probably not part of it, is what you're saying.
Yep. So I think these two are somebody else's.
Okay.
Interesting. 17.64. Yep. Okay. So this is probably what he has right here. All right, cool. So now we know we have a little bit of here, but we have plenty of road frontage still, right? 1,133 feet. So let's say we're gonna chop it up. We'll just do some real quick rough math here. All right, 17.54. How many parcels do you want to divide this into, Jeff?
Let's do four.
Try and maximize it a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
So four gets us into 4.38 acres per parcel.
Well, I
Okay.
guess if we did the four, we'd have to go with this, right? This minimum parcel size. We'd have to do that plat act thing if we did.
Yeah, so it sounds like if you go less than 5 acres,
Mm-hmm.
you just have to follow local platting procedures. So what that might mean is that you might have to go into a meeting like that or whatever it may be. You might have to go show up at a meeting, which some people are totally like opposed to. Like I just got one under contract in Indiana, fully knowing that I'm gonna have to make at least 2 trips out to Indiana. So it all, I guess, kind of depends on what you want to do. Um, let's let's go three.
Yeah, let's do three so that each of
Let's
them
do
would be like
three.
five
And
acres.
let's see where the math is on three, because if the math works on three, it'll certainly potentially work on four. All right.
Okay. All right.
Because I mean, also too, you have to check and see. There's a few other variables, but all right. So if we go, crap, what did I say? 17 point, what was it? 17.54.
Yeah.
0.54 divided by, let's go three. So it's 5.84 acres. All right. Which totally doable. That gets us over that five. That might be really nice. All right. So we got 5.84 acres per 4 lots, 3 lots. And we had 17.54 acres. Sorry, I'm gonna write it down, guy. All right. And then if we have 1134, divide that by three. All right, we have 378 feet of road frontage. I'm just literally just splitting it in
Okay.
a third. Before we do that, Actually, I'm gonna take a look. What the heck is this? Nope, I don't want that. I want to know what this outline stuff is.
Because that's something that's just there, right? You can't like that's protected.
This neighbor. I'm trying to figure out what exactly that is. Mm, interesting. Ah, yeah,
Uh,
okay, cool. I didn't realize I had that on. So that's city limits. Interesting. How it comes up and like grabs just that little parcel right
I
there.
know.
All right, whatever. That might be in our favor, might also be not in our favor. So we'll see. So we'll
You
just
think
take
that
that
might
off.
limit us?
Potentially, but we'll see. I mean, that might also too be really good, or it might be really bad. Let's see here. Slope, that looks like a super flat piece of ground because there's like no slope around there.
Hmm.
I turn the floodplains on. That all looks really good. All right, let's draw this out. All right. So I said 378 feet. All right. So we're going to go 378. I'm just going to make pure squares or pure
Awesome.
rectangles here. All right. Let's check this out. 378. See how steady my hand is this morning. If I had enough cups of coffee, you start seeing me shake back and forth, you'll know. All right. 378. All right. Close enough. And all right, cool. So here's roughly what you would get. Now, obviously, like I would just tell the surveyor, hey, I want you to divide it perfectly in three or whatever. All right, so here's what we have here, 380 feet. That passes the 150 mark by a long shot, right?
Mhm.
Um, so now here's kind of the feasibility of this. All right. The next piece of it that I would look at is I would go, okay, give me the data layers again. And then I'm going to look at soil types. Now, this is getting a little into the weeds here, all right, but bear with me. The
I
main
like
reason
it.
being is because what's your main probably normally when you subdivide something like this, you're trying to create a homestead for it, right? Is that
Hmm.
normally what you're kind of trying to create?
Yeah.
I mean,
Hmm.
that's normally my thought. So, what we want to look at is can you see over here how it says looks fine and then worth investigating?
Hmm.
So this just tells us the different types of soil within there. And so we're trying to figure out, okay, this all looks like it potentially could be all right to build on. Right now, this is a majority of it. And if you look at kind of, I know it's gonna, let me drop the opacity on it here. So you kind of look at this middle plot, right? It mainly has this, I don't know, Wynus silt loam, which is some sort of soil that I've never ever heard of, clearly. And looks like, might have a little bit more issue potentially getting a soil test that will pass on this one, just because of the water table depth, the drainage class, and the ponding. But otherwise, though, I mean, I think this looks probably pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised if this would be able to pass. All right, so we go, okay, cool, it looks good. Because there are places like, uh, this is probably a bad, Indiana, Midwest, Illinois, Kansas, whatever, Missouri, tend to have pretty good soils. Once you start getting into southeast, like North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, you get that clay. And sometimes, like, you won't, like, you'll see. every single one is worth investigating, right? This it looks a little bit cleaner. So overall, I think that's probably pretty good to see where we're at on those types of soils. So that looks good overall. Just super quick look at it. Now, what would be like the next question for this? So we could split it up, right? We have enough road frontage. We know that, they're over 5 acres, so we can potentially just totally bypass that. What's the next piece of info that we need to know in order to like see see if this is a possibility, like the value or like the price point? Like how are we going to tell if what they're asking is going to work and how we get to a right price point? What's the next step for that?
If it's already set up for utilities and sewer.
Utilities and sewer potentially.
Okay.
So let's take a look at that. Now, we don't know 100%, right? But my guess is there's a lot of houses over here. I can't imagine this little house and parcels on a septic tank.
Yeah.
It's too small.
Most likely this is city, just because even though that they're just outside of city limits. Well, part of the property we saw that was in city limits.
Bingo, 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 bingo. Yep. So this piece of it, that's why I'm like, ooh, this might be really good, right? This tells me that there was probably sewer and septic or sewer in through here,
All the
and it
way out to
probably
there.
jets over on this county road to help get all of these houses.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
So this is an assumption, right? Now, these are things that you would normally go and ask the city to double check and to verify. All right. So we know we probably have a good idea that there's sewer available. Now you have 5 acres on each of these. So septic will also probably be a realistic opportunity for this because remember how they were saying that you have that 1 acre to 2 acre, at least one to
Hmm.
2 acres for a septic field? Well, you
Oh
got
yeah.
almost 6 acres for all of these. So you should be able, I would hope you should be able to find at least 1 acre for a septic field in this case.
Mhm.
But my guess also is because all these are in such close proximity that there's probably sewer close. There's probably water, sewer, and electricity, all probably, my guess is right off this county road 2125.
Perfect.
So we have a rough idea that's probably accurate, right? So we go, okay, this looks like it could have potential, which I think it does. Could have potential here. The one missing piece that I think we need to know is how much do 5 acre, 6 acre parcels go for in the area, right? Because if they're saying they want 264,000 and each of those we're going to say combined only add up to 250, like do we have a deal? No, right?
Yeah.
So let's see what we have here for parcel size. So just gonna copy the address here. We're gonna go into Zillow. Actually, okay. So this gets me close. Cool. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for solds in the area. Then I'm gonna look for smaller lots. I'm gonna go 5 to 10 acre lots. Let's see what these are going for. Well, this one has a house, so that's not gonna help. 84 acres. Of course, you can't see anything on there. All right. I mean, that looks like a nice house too. Nice little area. All right, here's where it becomes the challenge. See how there's like nothing around right in through there?
Hmm.
This is on the other side of a major highway. I get nervous when we get onto another major side of a highway. However, it might be close enough. This is going to have a house on it too, where it's worth a look. These ones right now look like they potentially have houses on them. This looks like it has a house on it as well. 39,000. What?
What a deal.
What? Sign me up.
The last
Um,
home sold for 38. Oh yeah, just last year. Dang.
wow. $17 a square foot. Good Lord, I just paid more for trim at Home Depot than I that house was worth. Oh my goodness. Crazy. Okay. God love the Midwest. All right. So this is where it becomes a little bit more challenging because now we need to try and find what a 5 acre parcel could potentially sell for. All right. And this is really, really tough because there's nothing really around it that's purely land. Let me see, but that's in,
Yeah, that's a nicer area.
yeah, a little bit closer to the city, right? So that makes it hard. Maybe something like this, 6 acre lot. I mean, they at least have, but that's fully cleared and ready to go versus ag. Okay. So here's a few things that I know about this is A, it's going to be really hard to comp around this,
Okay.
which is going to be if they're going to try and go and get bank financing for a build or something like that, or bank financing, it's going to be maybe a little bit more challenging to do that because there's no comparables that are super close. The other piece of it too is how often are these pieces of land selling around there, right? So just because you can subdivide it doesn't mean that you should, right? Because you can subdivide this, but then if you have to sit on it for 2 years before you find a buyer, ooh, that's no good, right? So you want to make sure that you're kind of watching out for how fast these are selling. It doesn't look like land in this area is moving super, super fast. But for the sake of today, like let's talk more about it, right? So if we have 5 acres and we're gonna take these two, 84 and 48. They have a high spread between the two, but we'll take the two of them. And we'll just say was this what, 6 acres and this was 10 acres. So that's 16 acres total. And it was, what do we say, 132,
Hmm.
132K divided by them. So price per acre, 132 divided by 16. So we're getting about 8,020, $250 per acre. Rough estimate. All right. So if we're looking at that per acre and come over here and break this down, right? 8,250 times, we'll say six. It's 49.50 per lot. 49,500, excuse me, per lot.
Hmm.
All right. So you multiply that by three, you have roughly 150,000, right? If you go through all those. 264 is not even in the ballpark. He's
I
he's
know,
swinging
right?
for the fences here. He's
Yeah.
swinging for the fences, right? So when we start looking at that and go, wonder what that is, wonder how they can, like, no wonder he only has one save. It's probably the neighbor who's interested in seeing if this ever sells. Oh man, if they sell it for that much, I could get this, right? Now, if you have it, and this is approximate retail is 150, right? And now it's going to cost you a few $1,000s to be able to subdivide this, right? It's probably going to cost you about 10,000 or so to subdivide this. Rough estimate here, okay? So let's just build our price point backwards. All right. So if we have 150K, right, or 148,500, if you will, all right. And then I'm going to say that is if you can get full retail price for them. All right, we're going to multiply that by 9.5 because that's probably a more realistic that no one's going to give you full retail for everything.
Hmm.
All right. So now we're at one, here, I'm gonna make the math easy. 150,000 times 0.95 gives us 142,500. All right, so now we're at 142,500 for approximate retail value. All right, if you look at it and you go, okay, this is going to cost me about 10,000 to subdivide. So we're going to take that out right away. Now you're at 132,500. All right. Now it's going to cost you, let's say 15%, 15 to 18%. We'll just say 15% for realtor fees, closing fees, everything like that. Right? So now you're at 112, 625. All right. And now you have to figure out, Jeff, how much profit would you like to make on something like this?
If I'm gonna do the subdivide and everything,
Yeah. If you're going to put your time, energy, effort into it, go through all the things, possibly show up to some meetings if you need to.
I would, yeah, I think 50 to 60,000 is like
I
the
think
base.
so. It's probably, I mean, it's going to take a lot of time, energy, effort to do this, right? And also, too, I mean, you're taking a lot of risk as well, right? You're going to have to go out and get soil surveys and or soil samples and cores and perk test it and all that. So you probably want to make 50,000 on it, right? So we're going to subtract out 50,000. So you'd have to get this land for 62,625.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Yeah.
So a project like this, obviously, I mean, how often do you actually find a property on Zillow? I know that you have these tools like Land Insights and Land
hmm
Portal. So is there never any reason for you to go to Zillow to buy a property?
Oh no, for sure. I mean the
You
subdivide
go,
that
you
I
use that method as well?
yeah, the subdivide that I
Okay.
just went under contract for yesterday, I literally was scrolling randomly through Zillow and looked at it and was like, "Oh, oh. Oh, wait a minute, this might actually work." And sure
Cool.
enough, like the numbers do make sense. I was able to negotiate terms where the numbers did make sense, right? Where, it's contingent on me subdividing the land and it going through, right? Because I don't want to buy this parcel and you can do this too, but for certain parcels, you want to mitigate as much risk as you can while also still being able to potentially get the deal done, right? So, for example, this one was in Indiana. It's owned by, I'm told it's owned by an older gentleman who just has a whole bunch of properties, just kind of wants to get rid of it, whatever. The agent has been amazing. He's been awesome. And he was like, he essentially, I was like, yeah, I'm interested in this parcel, tell me a little bit more about it, XYZ, okay, you know, looks like it's a pretty prime piece of real estate, and there's a whole bunch of houses around it, and it looks like it's kind of like one of the last man standing, like why haven't they developed it? And he's like, oh, well, I told him that, he should subdivide it and sell it off, and he'll make way more than what he has on it, and he just wasn't interested. I'm like, oh, okay, great. Cool. So I know, great, he's not interested in subdividing this, which is super helpful because I am, right? And he understands he is an investor. He owns like 20 properties and parcels around the area. And so he understands I'm an investor. I need to make some money on the back end too. And so trying to figure out a solid price point for that. So, anyways, going back and forth. I was able to negotiate it to a point where it was subject to the subdivide being approved. So the transaction will only go through if the subdivide is totally approved. If it doesn't pass perk tests or the soil tests or whatever, then the transaction won't go through. Now I am out whatever money that is that I spend to go through all that due diligence, right? Which could be up to 15 to $20,000.
Wow.
But there's also some reward on the back end for that as well. So that's why when, like, you have you said 50,000 is what you'd like to take, right? That's also your risk mitigation, right? So that might be, oh crap, 50, if you make 50,000, 20,000 of that might be for, some extra testing or whatever that you didn't expect that you had to be done or whatever, like I know already one thing that I didn't think of that I just thought of in when talking is that it's an ag field like this, kind of similar, but it's an ag field. There's no crops in it, which is good because if there's crops, then that would have to delay everything until winter to be able to close because you can't kick a farmer out of their cropland,
Oh yeah.
right? Which I know is like weird to think about, but like those are things though that you have to think about.
Yeah.
And then also too, if that like so there's no crops there, but now there's a whole bunch of it's just hay and weeds and grass and whatever. So in order for the surveyor and the soil core tester, right, the perk tester, to be able to
Hmm.
grab those cores, we probably got to mow the field. Well, now it's probably going to cost me X number of dollars to mow a field, right? So these are all thoughts that you like pieces of the puzzle that have to do it. So like when you start looking at, something like what you have here, right? You need to knock about $200,000 off that price for it to be
Okay.
an adequate idea behind it, right? The one thing I can tell you right now is that the price per acre in this area is not high enough.
Oh, you're saying to not even bother because of you won't really make that money back. It's just kind of a lower,
Yeah, because 5 acre price
yeah,
per acre, like 6 acre lots,
like
the
eight
price
grand.
per acre is 8,000 versus if you go in here and you go like we'll just like take a look at like the 30 or the 17 that they have, right? So hold on. Go to 20, go to 10, and let's just take like 120K, right? So I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but 120K, 1,000 divided by 20. I
Yeah,
mean, that's 6,000 per acre,
yeah.
right? So your spread and difference is $2,250 per acre, right? That's not a large enough spread for an investor to go and split that land, right?
So originally, when I found when I started looking at Illinois, it was because on Land Insights, I actually saw
Mhm.
that this was had an awesome sell-through rate in this county. So
Yeah.
that's originally why I was drawn to this. Obviously, the price is not that much per acre, but I thought if I can buy a big enough parcel, do a subdivide on it, it might make sense.
hmm
That was my
So
logic behind it, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. So now the other piece behind it too, right, is we only subdivided this 3 ways,
hmm
right? So now if you subdivide it 4 ways, right? That could potentially bump up a little bit more,
yeah,
right? So, for example, like on the subdivide that like if you look at a subdivide, and just this is like anyone's subdivide or whatever, but if you look at a subdivide, right, you want to have roughly like if you can up like 4,000 per acre spread is really good. Right? So like that will give you enough room. And then it's a matter of like how many parcels can you split it into, right? So
totally. You're saying
um
purchase it? So you would purchase it at a 4,000 per acre? Is that what you're saying?
no, like the difference between how price per acre as it currently sits. So
Okay.
price per acre as it sits in 17,000,
Hmm.
right? Versus price per acre should be higher when you start cutting it up.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
And
okay.
so that spread and difference between, sorry, I did a really poor job of explaining that. That
No, no,
spread
I just wanted
between,
clarifications. Okay.
yeah, no, thank you. That spread between the two, if you can get 4,000 or more, that's like excellent. That will give you that margin. And then if you can split it into like 5 parcels instead of 3, now you can see where that spread gets like really like a healthy spread behind it. Does that
Okay,
make
cool.
sense?
Yeah, it
Because
totally does.
because
Yeah.
now all of a sudden you're getting, you might have these might only be, like let's say 17, right? Divided by 4. Now they're 4.25 acres, right? Versus almost 6. But the price point on those is going to be roughly this, right? It's going to be roughly the same. So you're going to add more value to it. Does that make sense? You're going to essentially
Yeah.
add more
Are
into it.
you saying 4,000 per acre in this area? Because obviously it'd be different everywhere, but are you saying you would pay 4,000 per acre for these properties because you know that the going rate is about 8 grand or more, correct?
I mean, if you can get it for 4 grand an acre, yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to understand your logic
Right?
behind that. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I guess what I was trying to here, I'm a visual guy. Let me write this out here so I can kind of okay, so right now if you have 17 acres,
Hmm.
right? And right now that goes for what did I say? What was that recent comp here? 120. We're just going to use this one
Okay.
as a rough idea.
Okay.
Okay. And so this is about 6,000 per acre. All right. So 17 times 6, the rough estimate value of this 17 acres is approximately 102,000. All right. So roughly 100 or 102K. All right. So when we look at that, we go, okay, this is what it's worth as it sits. All right. Now we know when we break it up into when we subdivide it into 6 acre parcels, now all of a sudden it's worth 8,200. We're just going to say 8,000 per acre. All right. So if
Mhm.
we take those same, I'm just going to guesstimate here, right? 17,000 or 17 acres times 8,000. Now all of a sudden it's worth 136K. Rough estimate of 136,000. So what I'm looking at here is the spread between 8,000 per acre and 6,000 per acre. So the
Okay.
per acre spread
Oh, so you're
is
saying you want a spread of at least 4,000 per acre. That's what you were saying.
once you get into like 3 to 4,000, it can get that those margins can be healthy enough for you to take that
Okay.
risk, is what I'm
Awesome.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Because what I mean, and it's all up to whatever your risk tolerance is too, right? When I'm looking at this, I'm going, okay, my Indiana parcel that I'm under contract for, I'm gonna have to go out to Indiana 2, 3, maybe 4 times in order to get that approved and done, right? So is that a flight out to Chicago? Is that me driving? I am close enough where I can drive. It'll be about a 7-hour drive, so it's a long drive, right? So gas price, whatever, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it
and
adds up
it's not,
quick.
and it's not like I can just stay there. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess I could. I don't know. I mean, my wife probably wouldn't like it, right? But I could stay there from August 11th to September 15th, right? So I'd have to stay there for a month. Probably wouldn't make a whole bunch of sense, but you know what I mean? Like,
Good. You could do it.
like you have to factor in how much that time, energy, effort is worth it to you, right? And figure out how much that spread is, right? So if I'm having to do that, right, 50,000, I know it sounds crazy, but it's probably not worth it,
Totally. Yeah.
right? Just because of time, energy, effort, headaches, right? Like the amount of money that you're spending on different things, right? So it is real estate. There are risks behind it, right? You do your best to try and mitigate everything and get everything that you can behind it first, and try and mitigate as many of those risks as possible, right? Because how people get in trouble is they will buy a parcel like this. They'll just say, "Oh yeah, like I think I can buy it for 200,000." I'm just going to throw out a number, right? Ignore these numbers, all right? But say they think they have a $50,000 spread at 200,000, right? And so they go, "Hey, I'm going to buy it for 200,000, just straight up cash. I'll just buy it right now." Okay, great. But now what happens when the soil tests don't come back right? When the subdivide doesn't go all the way through, right? Now you're stuck with this 17-acre parcel and it's 200, you bought it for 200,000 and the value of it's only 210,000 and now you have to pay realtor fees again to try and get rid of it and all of a sudden you're losing money on it,
Yeah,
right? So
that makes
there
perfect
can
sense.
be certainly some risk behind it. Like the one that I just got, like it is subject to subdivide being fully approved, right? So I know that I'm paying a little bit more than what market value is, right? So if the market value, like we'll just use this parcel exam, right? Like let's say the market value is 200,000, all right? And Jeff, you're the seller of it and I'm the buyer and I go, "Hey, Jeff, this land is really worth about 200,000. I'll give you 210,000. However, I want to make sure that I'm going to subdivide this and I want to make sure that the subdivide goes through. So I will give you 210,000 if and only if the subdivide gets fully approved. Are you okay with me subdividing your land and going onto your land and doing perk tests and survey work and other things like that in order to get this fully approved? All
So
that
you're
cost will
actually
be in my
doing that
dollar.
before you close.
What's that?
You're doing that before you actually buy the property. Yeah, that was actually a big question for me because I've wanted to do that with a lot of projects, but I'm like, how do you do that if you don't own the property? So
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome that you addressed that. Thank you. That's been a big
yeah, yeah,
question.
yeah. So it's called a land contract.
Okay.
And essentially those land contracts, you can write in there that you have the ability to go in and make improvements within the land in order to get it to approve.
Oh my God.
And that you have their permission that you can go on the land anytime you need to in order to get XYZ done.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Is it that is a gold nugget right there. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So it's super helpful. Super helpful. It's called a land contract. And just make sure you have an attorney write it up in whatever state you're in and make sure that the title company is familiar with it. The title company knows what's going on. The seller, if there's an agent, the agent knows what's going on, right? Just like overly communicate it because
Mhm.
that's how you're going to save yourself and make sure that everything is good to go.
Okay.
So, for example, like on the parcel that my Indiana parcel, I have an attorney. He's versed in what we're trying to do. I've talked to him. The agents talked to him. The title you works very closely with the title company that we're working with, right? So like all parties understand what's going to happen here and making sure that everything is squared away, right? Making sure that everything is how it needs to be in that land contract, right? So where, he'll release this, he'll release that, he's able to do this, he's able to do that. I have to call the zoning committee. Unfortunately, they're on holiday today, but I'll have to call them first thing on Monday and see exactly what they need from the seller in order for me to go in front of these boards and apply and allow it to be subdivided on his behalf.
Okay.
So a few different moving pieces when that the type of stuff happens, but I'd rather go through those loopholes than be stuck with a parcel that I overpaid for and now I'm losing 20 grand. Plus, I also lost 20 grand in due diligence. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather lose it in due diligence and figuring that out than having the headache on the back end too of land that's not worth anything. And especially too, if you self-fund it, you can only kick yourself for it. But if you have a lender on it or something like that, like, hey, you're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Okay. Awesome.
yeah,
Very helpful.
yeah, yeah,
Is this, are you going to post this on YouTube?
yeah,
Okay. All right. Is
yeah.
there, so I have a lot of questions for an area that actually we found a lot of great properties. When would
Sure.
you, when would be a good time to actually have separate office hours?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I'm also too, Jeff, if there's stuff like that, I can also too, like I can go on it one-on-one with you if you want and try and help you out a little bit. Otherwise, too, I mean, I can always cut it out too. I mean, I'm not live.
Okay.
I take the recording and I can
Yeah.
just chop it if I need to.
Okay.
If there's something on there where, and this goes for anyone in any office hours, right? If they're like, hey, I don't want this on there, but I'm okay sharing it in the small group. Okay, cool, no
Yeah.
problem. But
Okay.
you don't want, it aired out on YouTube. Yeah, totally fine. Totally fine.
Okay.
I can always cut that out. So
Okay. You
whatever
can
you're
cut this
comfortable
out
with.
if we, so I'm fine with you posting it. But yeah, if you want to cut out this next section, that'd be
Yeah,
awesome. Because I
sure.
know you have about 20 minutes till you need to go, right?
Let me make sure. Yes. Yes, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good.
Yeah, if you don't mind cutting out this next section, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll chop it out.
So one thing, kind of question I've had is, do you have like a Rolodex of buyers for your properties?
I'm
You've
I'm
like
building a Rolodex
you're
of
building.
buyers,
Okay.
right? And if you ask any land person, land investor who says they have a Rolodex, yes, they do. And they're constantly
Always adding
always
to.
adding,
Okay. All right.
always adding to that Rolodex. Yep, 100%.
So do you actually start with the buyer first when you're looking for properties?
Ooh, that's a good question. So you can. The challenging piece with that is when you go after larger parcels, that buyer pool shrinks dramatically, right? So let's take, for example, let's take an infill lot. An infill lot meaning a small lot that they're going to go build a house on, right? Think of it like in a subdivide or a development area, right? Where they're going to go, it's a little, you know, quarter acre postage stamp and they're going to go put a house on that, right? Those are really easy because you can go to any builder, right? Builder or any person like me or you can also go out and just go and buy that parcel and say, hey, I'm gonna get a builder, I'll buy the land, I'm gonna get a builder to come in and build my house. So those are really easy to do, easy, quote unquote, to do like that, right? Where you're finding a buyer off the front end, right? Once you start getting into larger tracts, like what you showed today, right? Like 17 acres, it's harder to find that because people are going to buy that 17 acres, they're going to put a home on it, and then they're going to call it good for the next 30 years,
Yeah.
right? So finding those buyers are harder, but not impossible, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So will I look? Yes, I have certain buyers who are looking for larger acreage tracts. I've met a few developers who have certain investment criteria buy boxes in certain areas, and they want it either raw or entitled or subdivided or whatever. They have specific criteria for it. Um, but overall, I don't want to say I rely on the market, but overall, I will list it as one of my disposition strategies, 100%, because it hits the most eyeballs. You have you have your highest likelihood of finding a buyer when you put it on market.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you
That's a really good question though.
how do you find things? How do you find your buyers?
Yeah.
Rather than
Uh,
just list a property, because that is obviously a great way to find buyers. But how else do you find buyers? Like people that are investing in properties? Because I know on Land Insights, there's a little, when you're looking at a property, sometimes you can see that that person owns multiple properties. And so it's like, well, I could, contact them and say, hey, are you looking to buy more? But sometimes these people own like 500, 600 acres. It's pretty massive and they're all divided into, 20 plus properties. So,
yeah.
what's a good strategy to find buyers?
Yeah. So there's a few different ways that you can go about it. In my disposition process, right? So once I acquire a piece of land and now all of a sudden I'm trying to get rid of it, right? Or sell it or whatever it is to an end buyer, there's a few different ways that you can go about it. One, I mean, you can like run ads like on Facebook and whatever, to try and find buyers and build up that buyer list and then try and go find properties specifically for them.
Hmm.
Um, the only downside with that is that you're literally relying on them to buy it and go through and pull the trigger and totally reliant on them in order to do that, right? when
Yeah.
you go, like part of another piece of like my disposition strategy, I'll list it everywhere and anywhere to try and find that buyer, right? So Facebook, I'll put it on land.com, LandWatch, Zillow, I'll list it with an agent, right? So you can blanket it like that. In terms of trying to find specific buyers, there's a few different ways that you can go about that. One way is like going on Land Insights, seeing like starting to click around, and if somebody has like 20 properties,
Okay.
go skip trace them and call them and be like, hey, like I see you have a whole bunch of properties. I have a property down the street. Like, would you be interested in buying it?
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that might be a great way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. You can also go to the county recorder's office or potentially on the website if it's on there. Now, how quickly they update that is per county. But
Right.
you can also go to like the local county recorder's office and see who's bought land, pull that list, skip trace them, and then go find buyers in that sense as well. So there's other ways you can find it. Another way that I find it as well is on my website. I just have my website, I try and optimize it for SEO and all that stuff. And
So the
so when
the
people
buyers come to
say,
you.
yeah, so then they find me and then, comes in and I give them a call. Hey, how's it going? Just saw that, you're interested in buying some land. Tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for. I'll try and kind of hone in. If anything comes across my desk, I'll certainly send it over to you first, XYZ, right?
Cool.
And so, and I do have like a matching process on the back end of my software or whatever, where it matches to buyers if it first and then sends it out right away or X, Y, whatever, right? And so there are processes that you can get in through there. But if you want to try and find buyers on the back end, you can either click around on Land Insights, which is super time consuming. You can
Okay.
try and go to the county recorder's office and see about pulling a list of recent transactions. Now, also too, the good and the bad about that as well, right, is that if you have, sometimes people put them in their LLC, right? And if people put them in their
Notice
LLC,
that.
then it's like, okay, well, you can skip trace an LLC, but it's harder to skip trace that, right? Especially depending on how many layers they have, it can be really hard or where their LLC is. But you get the point though, is that you can go to the county recorder's office, pull that list of people who recently bought land, and then you can whittle it down to a certain acreage range or whatever, and say, hey, well, these are my buyers potentially. Going on Land Insights, pulling people off of there who have lots of land, talking to other agents too, be like, hey, I got this piece of land, I'm getting under contract, or don't say I'm getting under contract. Contact them once that you have it under contract, so they don't try and
Yeah.
take
Oh
it
yeah.
from you underneath. But yeah, then, hey, I have this piece of land under contract, I'm looking at, what do you think the value of it is, right? And then, do you know of anyone possibly around who has it? I'm kind of looking to potentially get it listed, XYZ, and just see kind of that's another good way also too to get the land valuation. Now, understand too that they're probably going to pump you up a little bit, right?
Mm,
So maybe kind of like the the guy that you showed us of the one save and,
yeah.
double the land value of what it actually is worth or whatever. But yeah, so that's kind of where I would take a look at that piece of it.
So if you find in Land Insights an LLC, and it gives you numbers when you skip trace it, it'll also give you the owner's names, correct?
It can. Yep.
Okay. All
Yep,
right.
it can, depending on county and all that stuff. Yes, it can,
Okay.
potentially.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So I have this, I know you have about 10 minutes.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, I appreciate this. This has been so helpful. Thank you. Thanks for doing
Yeah,
this. It's been awesome.
absolutely. That's what this is for, man. This
Yeah.
is exactly what this is for. To try and make sure you guys get questions answered and learn and go.
So how do you feel we could best help you? Because this is a huge value add. This is awesome. I'd love to help you in your journey as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, if there's anything that you have questions on or you want to partner with, like that's really like what I'm here for. If you're like, hey, Sam, I found this land that I think could be a good subdivide. I don't really know what to do, or I'm unsure about this, unconfident about it. You know, I'd want to partner with you on this. Would this be something that's of interest and whatever, right? And so, if that comes along, awesome. Um, any parcel that you see and you're unsure of, or you just want to submit, or you don't want to go through the whole process of it, totally fine, where you can submit it back over here, and if it ends up working out, I can give you a fee, whatever, is hey, thank you so much for thanks so much
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
submitting it in. This is, we were able to close on it, and we found a buyer and XYZ and whatever. And um so yeah, I guess that's probably like the best way, um really to I want to call it give back, because I don't expect anything in return. But this is more about learning and meeting people, and just knowing that, when you put good stuff out there, and you help people out, it'll come back. And so, people will, my goal really is to help teach and help people in the land space, because I found it was super helpful when people helped me walk through it, because there are so many nuances, as you just found out today,
Yeah.
about a subdivide,
Hmm.
right? And so just being, the person who they're like, oh yeah, they go talk to Dr. Sam, go talk to Dr. Dirt, if you will, and see, hey, he has these office hours, these are great, run it over there, you know.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I see it from it. If you have a parcel that you wanna look at, I'm all ears.
Okay. Take a look at this parcel, see what you think. And I also want to know what you think of, and if we don't have time, I get it. But
Sure.
and if you could cut this out of the video, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Do
Okay.
you let me ask you real quick too. Do you want to
Yeah.
see the AI stuff? Because the
I'd
AI
love to.
report's ready.
Oh,
You want to
awesome.
do that?
You want to do that? And I guess I can do this at a later date.
I have a little extra time today.
Oh,
So
awesome.
let's do, I mean, it's up to you. I'm gonna cut the AI stuff out of it because it is somewhat proprietary, I guess, but
Well,
it's
thanks for
up to
sharing
you.
it. Thank you.
It's up to you about what I
Oh,
have
I
kind of
would love to see
created, but
that. It's super
yeah.
helpful. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me share.